Hey there, welcome to this journey into one of philosophy's most fascinating topics, metaethics. It might sound complex at first, but trust me, we're going to break it down step by step. By the end of this video, you will not only know what metaethics is, but you will see how it shapes the way we think, act, and even how great minds like Nietzsche or Hume approached it. So grab a coffee, settle in, and let's get started. Let's begin this journey by answering a simple question. What is metaethics? To understand that, let's first break down ethics itself. Ethics is the study of what's right or wrong, good and bad. It tells us how to act like a moral compass guiding our decisions. But metaethics takes a step back and asks, what do words like good and bad even mean? Are moral values real, like physical objects, or are they just human inventions? Is there a universal morality that applies to everyone, or is morality subjective, like personal taste? Think of it this way. Ethics is like deciding which path to take, but metaethics is about asking what makes that path meaningful in the first place. It's a deeper level of inquiry. Not about how to live a good life, but about what good even means. Now you might think, this sounds pretty abstract. How does it actually show up in the real world? Well, the truth is, we engage in metaethical thinking all the time, without realizing it. Imagine this situation. Someone says, helping others is the right thing to do. That's a clear ethical statement, but metaethics asks, why? What makes helping others right? Is it because it benefits society? Is it because it feels good? Or do we believe there's some universal moral law that makes helping others objectively right, no matter the context? Metaethics also appears in debates about fairness and justice. For example, when people argue about fairness, they often have different metaethical foundations. One person might believe fairness is about treating everyone equally, while another believes fairness means rewarding effort and talent. And this is why metaethics matters. It helps us understand where our moral beliefs come from and why people can have such different views on what's right or wrong. Now let's enter the world of Nietzsche and his masterpiece. Thus Spoke Zarathustra. This book is full of metaethical insights, wrapped in poetry and powerful imagery. Nietzsche does not give us straightforward answers, but he does challenge the very foundations of morality. It all starts with the famous declaration, God is dead. This is not just about religion. Nietzsche is saying that the old foundations of morality, grounded in divine authority, have collapsed. Without those foundations, we are left with the question, what now? How do we define good and evil when there's no higher power to tell us what they mean? In Thus Spoke Zarathustra, Nietzsche introduces the concept of the Übermensch, or Overman. The Overman is the one who overcomes old values and creates new ones. This is a revolutionary metaethical idea. Morality is not something you discover, it's something you create. Here we need some citation. Man is a rope, fastened between animal and Superman, a rope over an abyss. Here he's showing us that humans are in a transitional state. We are not meant to follow inherited values forever. We must take risks, confront the abyss, and become creators of meaning. Nietzsche's critique of traditional morality runs deep. He describes two types of morality. First is master morality, which arises from strength, pride, and creativity. Second is slave morality, which is rooted in weakness and resentment. Master morality creates values based on what affirms life and power. Slave morality, on the other hand, rejects life challenges and glorifies humility and weakness. Here we need the citation from a book named Beyond Good and Evil, Nietzsche's book also. Quote is like, the noble soul has reverence for itself. Here, Nietzsche is urging us to move beyond moral absolutes and become creators of our own values, a metaethical act in itself. Metaethics is one of the most debated areas of philosophy, with some positions being more popular than others. Let's break down a few. First, we have to take moral realism, the belief that moral facts exist independently of human opinion. For example, lying is wrong, whether you believe it or not. When I reflect on certain basic moral claims like torturing an innocent child for fun is wrong, it really does feel like I'm perceiving an objective truth, not just expressing a personal or cultural preference. It seems as real and mind-independent as mathematical or logical truth. But then I have to grapple with some tough questions. If moral facts exist, what kind of facts are they? They are not physical facts we can observe or measure. How do we access them? Through reason, intuition? And how do we explain the widespread moral disagreement across cultures and history if they are objective moral proofs? Second is moral subjectivism. The idea that moral truths depend on individuals' beliefs or feelings. In this view, what's right for one person might not be right for another. When I say murder is wrong, a moral subjectivist would say I'm really just expressing my personal feeling or attitude, not pointing to any external moral fact. What I find fascinating is how this view handles moral disagreements. If I think factory farming is wrong and you think it's fine, a subjectivist will say we're both right in a sense. We're just reporting our different subjective reactions. There's no fact of the matter to discuss. But this leads to some troubling implications. If morality is purely subjective, how do we condemn historical atrocities? The Nazi who believed that genocide was, you know what I'm saying, take a Nazi who believed genocide was good would be just as right as someone who opposed it. And what about moral progress? Can we really say we have improved morally as a society if there's no objective standard to measure against? The third is error theory, a more radical idea. Philosophers like J.L. Mackie argue that all moral statements are false because they assume objective values that don't exist. It basically says we are all mistaken when we make moral claims, that every single moral statement like murder is wrong or kindness is good is actually false. Not because the opposite is true, but because moral properties and facts just don't exist. Think about how we used to talk about witches or phlogiston. We made claims about them, but they were all false because these things were not real. J.L. Mackie saying moral properties are similarly non-existent. When we think we are perceiving moral facts, we are projecting our feelings onto a morally natural universe. But at first, before Nietzsche, David Hume was one of the first philosophers to challenge the idea of objective morality. In his treatise of human nature, Hume argued that morality is not rooted in reason, but in emotion. He famously said something, here we need also a citation. Let's do this. Reason is and ought only to be the slave of the passions and can never pretend to any other office than to serve and obey them. Okay, remember this quote. It's back to the office. For Hume, moral judgments are not about discovering some universal truth. They are expressions of how we feel about certain actions. This is a cornerstone of moral subjectivism and laid the groundwork for many modern metaethical debates. While moral realism is still widely accepted, more and more philosophers are questioning the idea of objective moral facts. Error theory remains unpopular, but it's a bold and thought-provoking challenge to traditional views on morality. Now we get to the conclusion. Uh, why metaethics matters. Metaethics matters because it helps us understand the foundations of our own moral beliefs. It pushes us to question inherited values and reflect on why we believe what we believe. Nietzsche's challenge to traditional morality is just one example of how metaethics can reshape our thinking. In Thus Spoke Zarathustra, he leaves us with a powerful message. You must become the creator of your own values. And that's the essence of metaethics. Not accepting the world as it's given, but taking an active role in defining what matters to you. Okay, thanks for joining me on this journey. Until next time.